Hi, Claudia. Thank you so much for being with us today. Can you briefly introduce yourself?
Hi, thank you so much for inviting me. I'm Claudia Hasbun, the interim planning and zoning official for the city of Hialeah.
Wonderful. Thank you again for being here. And my first question for you is that actually the city of Hialeah has been working with a few others, plus Serbia, EXP, and a few others in putting together the Hialeah 2050 master plan. This has been an incredible effort that you have worked very hard on. Can you tell us a little bit about this master plan, some of the goals it lays out for connectivity for those who do not own cars or are not driving cars, and also safety?
Sure. Well, the Hialeah 2050 master plan was a 2-year span project. So it was very focusing to, first of all, engaging the community, going out with a huge public engagement process so we can hear what are the needs of the community in Hialeah. So it was divided into 4 pillars, basically, and I'm going to focus on the access to transportation, mobility, connectivity, and of course, the overreaching goal is safety. So we heard a lot from the folks that not only required to move using public transportation, but also for the ones that don't typically drive, as you know, the kids and the older generations are. So a lot of focus into green areas and something that I know that Miami has been working already, that it can be double serves the area because we are limited in land.
Yeah.
Land is a scarce source. So it's a lot of green areas, transportation, and how can we connect people to their jobs and to the places of living. So
The master plan lays out some really great goals in terms of wider sidewalks, more tree canopy, more cycling infrastructure. Can you tell us a little bit perhaps as to what have been the barriers in the past or even in the present to implementing this type of infrastructure in Hialeah?
Well, I think this is the easy answer. Everybody's looking for funding. Okay, so funding will be the number one barrier that actually has been impeding over the years to implement this kind of improvements throughout the city of Hialeah. Second, I will say that it's coordination, and we'll take responsibility into a lack of a comprehensive planning efforts with the city internally and with other agencies across the board. Also, education. A big point in Hialeah is terms of education. We were surprised about the number of pedestrians and bicyclists that we have in the city, but unfortunately we don't have the infrastructure for it. So, and that's why we have unfortunately, so many clashes between, the modes of movement of transportation, because they're using sidewalks to bike, they're using the street to walk, and they are not infrastructure, permanent to have this kind of movement. So it is now we're taking it from the beginning. We started at the planning level. Now we had applied for grants already that we're very happy that we are actually receiving some of those already and pursuing more in the future so we can go to the next level.
That's so exciting. One of the signature projects that the city of Hialeah is developing right now is the Hia-Line. Can you describe a little bit what the Hia-Line project is? And in addition, and I'm maybe spoiling a little bit of what it is, but what have you gleaned from projects like the Underline being built out right now that you are looking to keep an eye on or learn from those types of projects as you consider the Hia-Line?
Great. So in a technical level, I will say it is an active transportation corridor. Okay, that is what the Hia-Line is going to be. But in reality is, of course, an area, a piece of land actually that is currently underutilized, that we can improve it and will help us actually to activate and serve that connection that is missing. Those missing links that I'm pretty sure that you have seen it throughout the entire county. So we have learned a lot from the Underlined because we have been following their steps, the footsteps on how they were able to achieve stuff. Of course, the Hia-Line is going to be focused on some of the area. We don't have the density. We don't have the location of where the Underline is located. So it will be targeted to a different segments of the demographics and the population, because what we really need in Hialeah is to have a place of connection from job creation areas, the hospitals, the other areas where people actually can also recreate themselves with basically in Hialeah in some cases we don't even have a place or safety where to walk your
Yeah.
dog,
Yeah.
unfortunately, and that is the reality. So that is what we want to take it to that achievement.
That's amazing. And is there a particular like space that is currently designated or is being studied for this project?
We are working with the county, with DTPW. Basically, we wanted to start it from the Trail Rail metro station to the Hialeah station. That is
Awesome.
going to be our first segment. Of course, we're going to probably divide it into smaller locations, but that is going to be the first corridor that we will, target and start working on it. So we have surveyed the property already. We're finalizing this, and we're finalizing the agreements with DTPW actually. So take a look at the columns. Hopefully that is the first agreement that we can reach. Actually, the name of the Hia-Line's on the transit column. So that's a spoiler. I don't have any approvals, but hopefully we'll have soon.
We certainly hope so too. And we
Yeah.
got to get, the community involved in that process.
Definitely.